Have you ever heard the advice to follow your passion when thinking about building your career or maybe starting a business? Well, what if I told you that the conventional wisdom that's so often given out to just follow a passion is actually bad advice? At least that's the argument that Cal Newport makes in his book, So Good They Can't Ignore You. And he argues that instead of putting so much pressure on following a passion, it's more important to focus on developing useful skills because it's through this pursuit of developing useful skills that you'll likely cultivate a passion for whatever activity you engage in. And I share this with you because before I read the book So Good They Can't Ignore You, I felt an enormous amount of pressure to follow a passion. But my key problem was I didn't know what my passion was. I didn't know what my career should be. And the truth was, early on in my career, I just didn't have any skills yet. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my favorite insights from So Good They Can't Ignore You. And if you're looking for a different perspective for how to cultivate passion and build a career that you love, this video is for you. And if we haven't met before, hi, my name is JD, and I've been doing SEO for B2B software companies for the last 8 years, where I've helped companies grow their web presence and their revenue. Over the last 8 years, I've had the opportunity to work with in-house marketing teams as well as at a couple search agencies. And if you end up liking the video, please go ahead and hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get into the video. So what is the main point of So Good They Can't Ignore You? Give you the bottom line up front and the major premise of the book. Instead of finding your passion, focus on getting really good at something, because it's the pursuit of getting really good at any particular thing that you'll develop passion. In other words, passion develops out of mastery. And as you build rare and valuable skills in a given niche, you're going to be able to create passion and career capital. And as you acquire career capital and develop your skills, this allows you to leverage and shape your career so that you pursue work that is really meaningful to you. Very few people are born with a clear and marketable passion. So instead of just randomly throwing darts at a dartboard, hoping that you find your passion, it's better to focus on becoming a craftsman in whatever activity you pursue. Someone so skilled that opportunities naturally follow. That craftsmanship gives you the power to design your ideal job, you gain autonomy, and define a mission that makes your work truly fulfilling. So now that you have an understanding of the main point and premise of So Good They Can't Ignore You, I want to tell you about the 4 rules that Cal Newport uses to break up the book. Starting with rule number 1, which is don't follow your passion, focus on building career capital. And in this section of the book, this is where Cal Newport introduces the concept of building career capital, which is the process of collecting rare and valuable skills that you're going to build over time. And the more career capital you develop, the more leverage you're going to have when you're choosing what work you're doing, which gives you a sense of freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. And the argument against passion that he makes is that many people, if not most people, do not have a single or clear pre-existing passion that can easily translate into a well-paid, fulfilling career. And when people do try to follow a passion, they often feel entitled to a great job almost immediately, leading to chronic unhappiness and job hopping when the work becomes difficult, and it will become difficult, tedious, or even low-paying when you're just starting out. And then to revisit something we talked about earlier, argument is passion is a side effect. So in this part, he posits that passion is a side effect of mastery and not the starting point. The qualities that truly make a great job are autonomy, competence. When you feel good at a job, you're usually happier in the job. Can be found in almost any job, but only once you have developed valuable skills in that role do you feel good about the work that you're doing. You can become passionate about the great work after you get good at. So a lot of people, when they start a new job, this happened with me in SEO. I didn't like it initially, but as I worked through it, I really developed deep passion for SEO. So the second rule that Cal Newport talks about is be so good that they can't ignore you and develop a craftsman mindset. In this chapter of the book, he mentions that a lot of people or most people have a passion mindset, which leads to asking people, what do I want out of my career? What do I want out of my job? Instead, he argues that people should take on a craftsman mindset, especially if they're early on in their career, which flips the whole thing on its head, and you start asking, what value am I offering? What skills do I currently have? Things that I could get better at to offer the world that lead to monetary returns. And admittedly, even starting off with a question of what value are you offering? What value are you offering? Like that can be pretty hard. It was hard for me. So for the next week, what you can try doing is audit your interests and your contributions to the world. This could be things like, what videos are you watching on YouTube? What kinds of conversations are you having with friends? What courses in school do you like or have you liked in the past? What subjects have you found really interesting? And what careers kind of blossom out of all of these interests? So you can list out all of these interests, you can list out all of the skills that are associated with these interests, and very likely a lot of these skills can translate into career, whether that's a job or starting your own business. Because maybe you had a past job where you interacted with customers and you thought you were pretty good at sales, customer service, or you just generally enjoyed helping customers. If you were good at any of those individual things, a lot of those jobs are made up of a collection of skills. And if there's 2 or 3, maybe more, that you're really good at, you can focus on getting really good at those skills and taking them to a next job. So once you've written out your interests and the skills that are associated with interests or past jobs, you can view this as your offering to the world. And from here, you can start building your craftsman mindset. Developing a craftsman mindset really is the core rule that replaces the follow your passion mindset and replaces it with developing a craftsman mindset. You can take on a beginner's mind, focus on getting really good at something. And this shift really changes everything because it pushes you to focus on getting better at something and to treat your work like a craft, something that you deliberately improve on every single day. And when thinking about the craftsman mindset, you're thinking to get a great job, one with autonomy, creativity, and impact, you're going to need something rare and valuable that you can offer in exchange. And this is what Cal Newport refers to as the career capital, the rare and valuable skills you accumulate in your profession. The craftsman mindset involves focusing relentlessly on improving a collection of skills and the value you provide, instead of just worrying about what the job is giving you. Now, another key element with the craftsman mindset is the concept of deliberate practice. And deliberate practice means working just beyond your comfort zone where growth actually happens. This is like going to the gym and making the workout just a little bit harder every single week. Not so hard where you want to give up, but just a little bit harder every single week so that you're consistently getting stronger. Same idea with building skills in a job. You're improving your skills, your skill set a little bit each day. This means constantly pushing yourself to work outside your comfort zone, seeking immediate and honest feedback, and focusing on specific skills that are hard to master. So they're going to take a lot of time, but that's actually a moat you're building around yourself. Because it's hard to master, this is actually an advantage for you, because it's hard for others to replicate it as well. Simply showing up and working hard isn't enough, and it's also not just about doing more work. Although more work and more repetitions tend to help, and most likely whatever skill you choose to get really good at it, you're going to have to spend a lot of time at it. So when you're developing valuable skills, you're going to spend a lot of time, but a really important thing is focusing on deliberate, smart practice, which is all about getting maximum output for your efforts and your time invested. This is working smarter and consistently and seeking feedback regularly. The third rule that Cal Newport talks about is protect your autonomy and control. And with this rule, it's a focus on how you can use your accumulated career capital to exert more autonomy and control over your career. So first, the goal is control. One of the most important ingredients for job satisfaction is control and autonomy, which is the freedom to decide what you work on, how you work, and sometimes when you work. This is pretty important because control is a rare and valuable trait that you can usually only obtain once you've developed yourself with these rare and valuable skills, or the career capital that you offer. Another concept that Cal Newport introduces in this chapter is watching out for the control trap. And he uses a metaphor, turn down a promotion, which serves as a metaphorical warning against 2 common traps that people fall into when they're looking for autonomy in their career. The first trap is when you're trying to gain control, like starting a business or following a passion, before you've built up sufficient career capital. Because if you jump, you jump to a next job too early or you start a business too soon before you've acquired the necessary skills to be successful in that next job, next career, then the result is very likely failure because you haven't become good enough or you haven't become skillful enough to be successful in that next thing. The second trap that a lot of people can fall into is what's known as the golden handcuffs. And maybe you've heard this one before, but this is when you've been in your job or your career for a little bit, you've built up a little bit of career capital, and your boss, your employer offers you a promotion. Let's say it might be more money or a title. And while it appears to grant control, it often just increases responsibility and ties you more tightly to the existing structure. And then it prevents you from gaining true autonomy over your work and your time. So the warning is to avoid accepting an increase in status that actually costs you your future and freedom. And the cool part is, once you've built up enough career capital, you're gonna eventually gain the power to shape your work on your own terms. And whether that's working remotely, launching your own project, or choosing clients you actually enjoy collaborating with. That's really when work starts to feel meaningful, is when you have a little bit more say in what you work on, when you work, and how you go about your work. And lastly, rule number 4, think small but act big. Focus on the importance of your mission every single day. Here's the cool part. Once you master your craft, a sense of purpose is going to naturally start to emerge and build up inside of you. This rule deals with how to find a compelling and motivation mission for your work. Why do you get up every day? When you go to work, what are you trying to accomplish, and what gets you excited about your mission? So when you define your mission requires capital, and defining a mission starts with that career capital. So you might not have a mission right when you start building your career. You're still kind of refining your skills and figuring out what you like, but eventually you're going to have the career capital and your career defining mission. This is going to be your sense of purpose, your calling. It's your major source of satisfaction. Your career mission is going to be a major source of satisfaction. However, finding your career mission, it's not just going to come to you one day. You're not going to sit in a room, do some soul searching, and find your mission. Most likely, it's going to emerge and evolve as you develop yourself in the field. If you're not advanced or at the cutting edge of your field, don't worry. Most likely, you'll get there. But developing yourself in your career is important for your mission because it's going to give you context and credibility in identifying your mission. Next, let's talk about the concept of thinking small but acting big. So how we want to think about this is, when you're early on in your career, you want to focus on a very small and narrow set of problems where you can quickly gain expertise. And you're going to do this through deliberate practice. You're gaining expertise and you're reaching a high level or cutting edge in your field for a given skill. And then once you've acquired this sufficient career capital, this is when you can act big. Once you're at the forefront of your field, you can better engage in interesting missions or projects that will naturally become apparent as you move through your career. So to sum up Cal's advice, here are those 4 rules one more time. Rule number 1, remember, it's don't follow your passion. Focus on building career capital. Building off that, rule number 2, be so good that they can't ignore you, meaning practice every day at a given skill set. Start small, act big, and over time, you'll become so good that they can't ignore you. Rule number 3, turn down the promotion. Don't take a promotion too early. Don't quit your job to start a business before you have the skills to be successful in that next job or next business. Rule number 4, think small, act big, and build mastery. Because as you build mastery, you'll develop a passion for whatever you are engaging in, and out of that, your purpose and your life's mission will develop naturally out of that. So how do people end up building a career they love? How did I do it? Well, about 10 years ago, after I graduated college, I was feeling a little bit down that I just didn't have any skills yet. And how I built a career that I really love, and I'm by no means an expert, was I found my passion by following exactly what Cal Newport suggested in his book. I committed to deliberate practice in SEO day after day. Initially, I didn't like it. I certainly wasn't good at it. And it took me about 6 months to a year to really get a feel for it. But at the beginning, it was really tedious, it was really challenging. But day after day, week after week, I got better. And just like the book outlines, as I got better at doing SEO, I started to develop a passion and real enjoyment for it. And now, out of that, I have a little bit more career autonomy where I have the opportunity and really good fortune to work from home. So the truth is, passion really does follow mastery. And if you're feeling stuck, stop trying to find the right work and start working the right way. So that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the summary and got some good insights from So Good They Can't Ignore You. I highly recommend you pick up a copy, give it a read. And if you like the video, give it a like. I'd love to hear thoughts in the comment section down below. And until then, see you in the next one.